But I mean, the overall macro is still really bad. Like Pakistan, like there's all these events, global events that
I've been
just
sending it to Brian, and there's a Wall Street Silver, which
everybody's
is
protesting.
they're very convinced that the market managers or the market makers and the large government organizations, as well as like the IMF or like the centralized banks, inflation is now getting to be a competition because the increase in costs of energy are being seen. And so, what I had sent to Brian was there are protests in where are they?
So many countries.
So many countries.
Like in India, there's like in
There was one in Gujarat. There was one in
Italy,
Czech Republic, Italy,
Germany,
Germany. I believe there was one in Ghana as well.
yeah, Ghana, like
It's not necessarily being reported, but I mean, you heard it here, and I
well,
mean,
there's a lot of like news articles about electricity rations, like now that they're rationing
and
electricity
water shortages as well.
because they're depending on Russia for gas, Germany especially.
So
And
we've been
so
tracking this story in terms of like the European winter, where
shortages, like
they were
it's
saying
crazy.
how
Pakistani flood.
yeah, there's going to be shortages, which is going to either cause like massive price increases or rationing. And so in the UK, they're starting to ration and cut people off, and they're saying that there was a law passed that recently where I believe people are not allowed to go to the pubs past 9 p.m. and that the cost of beer has like doubled or tripled. But there was a similar thing in Colorado where if you signed up for the government shock protection plan, what's going to happen is that if the grid becomes strained, they're going to only allow you to cool your house down to a certain amount. And what they were doing in California was they were saying, please don't charge your cars. They were saying,
Well, they
don't
even
water
have a
your lawns,
sprinkler.
don't have a
Yeah,
pool.
they've had that sprinkler like water ration in effect for so long.
And so what's going to happen is like a lot of people are getting very angry, and there's protests around the world. There's also in New Zealand, and I've been sending Brian these tweets that have been reporting, and similar things have trickled into the housing market where the demand for purchasing houses has really dropped.
Yep, prices have dropped overall, and that has to do too with the macro, like Jerome Powell saying, like, "Oh, we're not doing a soft landing anymore. It's like a growth recession, basically, whatever that means." So it's just like that too, and then people trying to buy homes and then trying to fix them up too, like a little, house flipping. Like they're having issues too because there's
There are no buyers.
yeah, log jam and materials too. So there's a stockpile so there's delays in projects.
Yeah. And I
So it's
mean,
really hard to get materials too.
the increase in energy has been a knock-on effect for building houses as well. And so now the raw materials shipping them has been increased. Um, I saw a visual that had talked about how the Russian oil is still going to Europe and the UK, but now it's going through China, and then it's looping either around Africa or through the Suez Canal, because instead of doing a pipeline from Russia to Europe, it's being resold to China and then being marked up. Russia and China and Russia and India, and as well as Russia and several other people are purchasing Russian oil at a discount on the global market rate. The global market rate is still heavily increased.
Some
And then they're
insider
shipping,
trading.
yeah. And then they're saying people in New Delhi and Beijing, shout out to Breaking Points and Sagar and Jetty for bringing this up, where there are people who are basically purchasing from Russia and reselling, and then they're using inefficient shipping lanes and marking up, and they're making billions of dollars. And then the thing about it is, you could act like you don't know what it is, but the certain levels of, I believe it's like if it's petroleum versus, or if it's crude or refined oil, like you know where it comes from because of the certain type of oil with certain levels. And like it's still the same oil that's ending up in Europe and England. It's just way upcharged and going in an inefficient route because they're shooting themselves in the foot and not just using the pipelines. But Russia is blockading the pipelines. But
Yeah, yeah, we don't know how long this war is gonna
I'm
last.
yeah, I mean this is like kind of the macro stuff that